Hello there, welcome to Wastelands Raceway. Today I'm quite excited because today it's arrived in the post. It's the new Army Painter Speedpaint set, the starter set, which I've had on pre-order for a while. It arrived today. The launch date wasn't supposed to be till the 19th, I think, so I've got it a few days early. So let's get it opened up, have a look what's in there, and give it a try. See what it's like. So there you go. We have a quick little leaflet explaining how to use paint. Now, apparently there's supposed to be a 28-page painting guide in here. There's no 28-page painting guide in there. I mean, I'm not particularly bothered, I don't particularly need it, but you know, if you wanted it, you might be disappointed. There's also an Army Painter brush. This is their monster brush. I've used their regiment brush, which is a smaller size than this. It's quite nice, it's lasted quite well, so yeah, that's a nice little gimme to have. And we've also got the colours here. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 colours. Let's go through them in no particular order. We've got a yellow, an orange, and a red. So we'll see how they're like. It's a grey, looks like it's a very dark grey. And we have a blue, which looks like it's a reasonably dark blue. We also have Crusader skin, which I guess is a flesh tone type thing. Hardened leather, which is obviously a brown. Orc skin, which is green. It's not quite a bright green. Pallid bone, which I guess is a very pale sort of bony colour. And high colour purple, which evidently is a purple. So there you go, 10 colours, all fairly useful I guess. Now what I do notice is it actually has agitators in it, which is good. The one criticism, or the main criticism I've heard of Army Painter war paints in the past is that they're a real pain to get mixed properly, and they do need proper mixing. So obviously Army Painter have listened to that. So there you go, that's good. So that's the contents of the pack: a brush, 10 paints, and a 28-page booklet on painting miniatures, although there isn't one. Let's have a play and see what they can do. So the first thing I've done is just painted the colours onto a piece of paper, just to get an idea for what the colours are like. So you can see this Grave Lord grey, that's it's quite a dark grey, but it's definitely a grey. And the various browns are pretty much what you'd expect them to be. So the leather one is a leathery colour. Yeah, that's all good. And all the other colours are quite intense. They're all nice colours. The green, I'm not sure that's an orc skin green to me. That's a bit too bright and cheerful, but you know, that's just my aesthetic. The purple's quite dark, but it's definitely got a purple colour to it. And I do like the blue. That's a nice colour blue. So let's get started. Let's get these on some figures, shall we? Now, a while ago, I did do a video in which I painted this figure here. It's from Northstar Military Figures, a Wastelands warrior. I did it all, well, pretty much all in contrast paint, which is obviously the main rival or competitor for the Army Painter Speedpaints. So that's in there. Looks alright, got a reasonable result. So what I'm going to do is do some more of these little guys, and then we'll do a direct comparison. So let's see what it looks like with the Army Painter Speedpaint. I've got another one of the Northstar military figures there, which I've undercoated using an Army Painter spray. It's a bone one, I think it's called skeleton bone. So let's get started with the Crusader skin. Just putting it on reasonably thick. Yeah, obviously you don't want it too thick. And immediately it starts spreading out. That's nice, starts doing its thing. Yeah, actually you don't need it too thick. Obviously you need enough for it to move around, but actually already the difference I'm finding between this and contrast paints is it stains better. So with contrast paint, you need quite a lot for the colour to take, whereas, well, that's what I've found. Whereas this stuff seems more heavily pigmented, but it seems to spread out better as well. So you can see that. That's not bad, is it? So let's just get it all over the rest of him, and then so that's the difference between this stuff. Another difference between this stuff and the contrast is contrast you can use straight out of the pot, whereas obviously being a dropper bottle you've got to use this stuff off of a palette, which is not a major issue for me, certainly. Just make sure you don't squeeze out too much paint to start with. That's not bad actually, it's alright. It's Crusader skin, it's kind of like a tanned Caucasian flesh tone. It's gonna look alright, I think. So while that's drying, I'm going to do a second one. Because you've got it on too thin, it just tints the surface. So you've got to be brave with this stuff, I think. But I mean, that looks alright, doesn't it? It's got a strange blob on his forehead. I might try and clear that out a bit. Or should I just wait and see? No. Obviously it started to dry. I've torn into the paint there, so let's just put a bit more. Just wait and see how that settles. Yeah, I mean, it's alright, isn't it? It's not a bad tone actually. I mean, it looked a bit dark and a bit slightly orange before I put it on, but actually it's not a bad approximation of a skin tone. Yeah, it's alright. Okay, so while the top half's drying, I'll have a go at the boots. I'm going to use the black, the dark grey, Gravelord grey to start with on these boots. Let's just see how it comes out. It's going on fair. Oh, hello. That's already working quite nicely. Although it's obviously looks and feels a little bit like a wash, it actually feels more viscous. So it tends to stay where you put it. It's a bit easier to keep within the lines, if you like. Some of the contrasts I have found have been a bit runny, and so that's been a bit more of an issue. Yeah, it basically looks like a very dark grey. Yeah, it's stretching back into the recesses quite quickly. So with this other guy, let's try the hardened leather. Right, that's not bad at all either. That's a nice colour. Right. It doesn't come out as dark as I expected it to, but there you go, like kind of desert boot type look. It's not bad, is it? It's not bad at all. So let's see how this green turns out then. This orc skin. I'm going to give him green trousers. It's probably brighter than I would choose to give him, and you could, I guess, mix the paints. That might be something to try for another project. I'm just trying to see how they perform. It does leave a nice tint, a nice stain to the high points. It's not like you've got white primer poking through. It does seem to colour everything the same colour, just different intensities of that colour, which is nice. Yeah, if that dries the way it looks now, then that's going to look nice. It's a nice green. It is a nice green, and it goes on well, it covers well. yeah, I like it. I like this. So let's leave him to dry a bit. Right, what colour shall I do the other trousers? And he's got brown boots. Do you know what? I'm going to try the purple. It is a very dark purple. It's nice. It's sort of a greyish, lavenderish purple, but it's dark. But again, I can see it working, and it's pulling back off the high points. Be brave with this stuff seems to be the way to make it work best. Don't just tickle a little dab on. You need to get enough for it to flow. It goes where you want it to go. It doesn't seem to pull too much either. It doesn't run down too badly. Obviously it does if you do it on really heavily, but there you go. Now that is not a bad colour actually. I think I like it. So here they are so far with some colour on them. The skin's looking good. I like that. And yeah, I like the way the green's gone on the trousers. What I have noticed is there's a bit of rubbing off. Seems to have happened on some of the edges. Now it might be that I touched them or laid them down before they're dry. But yeah, it's good, isn't it? It's nice. I think it works. That purple's quite a nice colour actually. Yeah. So, crack on. Yeah, so the colour's dry now. What I have done is I've gone back and just touched in some of the overspill on some of the bits I'm still yet to paint. But yeah, they're not looking bad, are they? They're not looking bad at all. Right, I'm going to try the red out now. Do the neck scarves in red. I'm using a thinner brush just to keep more control. I'm fighting the natural tendency to put on thin coats. It's coming on. It looks alright, doesn't it? Let's see what it looks like when it dries. So that's one. I'll do the other one and then come back when they're dry. So I've finished them now. I've painted all the other bits. I didn't think you'd want to sit and watch me just scrabbling away with a paintbrush. This is all painted now with the Speed Painter paints, and hopefully, as you can see, it's not a bad effect, is it? The particularly visible on the trousers there, highlights and shadows are looking good. Similar with this one. The only bits that weren't speed paint were the metallics. However, what I've done with firearms is, I don't know if you can see that, I've painted them in silver and then painted over the top with the Gravelord grey, and it actually has given it quite a nice effect, quite a sort of a darkened steel type look to it. So I'm happy with that. So overall, yeah, these are good, they work, I like them, a nice matte finish, I like the colours, and I think they're easily as good as contrast. One observation that I do have though, and I've not noticed this with any other paints, is there does seem to be some sort of erosion on the paint. It's rubbed away a bit. Now it could be the way I've handled it while I've been painting it. You can see it there and there on the edges. It could be a feature of the paint, I don't know. What I would say is I haven't treated these figures any differently than normal. I've never seen this before, so this may be a feature of the paint, in which case that's not necessarily a plus, but I don't know yet. I'm gonna have to try and paint other stuff now and see if that's a common feature, just something to be aware of. But there you go. So there we have your speed paint. Here we have the contrast. I think with the speed paint the effects are slightly more subtle, so give the effect of being slightly more blended, which for me is a positive. They're not as stark, not as harsh, but yeah, they work. They're as good as contrast, I think, and noticeably cheaper. So for me alone, that probably means I'll be using Speedpaint more frequently than contrast, so long as this erosion rubbing type effect isn't something that becomes a feature. But other than that, yeah, they do what it's supposed to do. Right, so here we are, the obligatory glamour shot of the finished items. Yeah, I think it's interesting to see how these perform on smaller scale miniatures like these ones, because all the reviews I've seen so far have been on 32mm size miniatures. They do pick up the details nicely, these paints. They do show sufficient contrast, the kind of contrast you want on smaller scale miniatures, because obviously the smaller they are, the more contrast you need for it to show. Yeah, it works. They work for me nicely. What I would say is they do pick up details, so be sure that you clean your miniatures up properly. Mould lines and flash lines will get picked up by the paint, which is demonstrated by this purple guy's forehead. So be aware of that. The only issue, as I said, is potentially this rubbing off of the paint. I think that might be more to do with my handling, but that's something I'll test and develop further. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this useful, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.